Okay, I'm in Bash, I'm in a directory, I have a file called file and a folder called test. I can check to see if the file exists by using this -f. So we're going to check, we're going to say does file exist, and then we'll say ampersand ampersand. So if it exists, we'll say exist, and if it fails, if it doesn't exist, then we'll just say no. How about that? So we do that, we can see that it exists. If I was to change this to say file2, it says no, because that file does not exist. But if I was to come back here and say test, it's going to say no as well, but we do know that test does exist. Well, test is a folder or a directory. To check if a directory exists, we're going to want to use the -d option. So now we can see, yes, test does exist. But if I was to change this to now say file, no, because file is not a directory. How can you check whether it's a file or a folder? You want to make sure if it exists either way to put out the correct information. Well, you can just do E. This is going to check whether it exists, whether it's a directory or a file. It should return it exists if it exists. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. And again, we'll just go in here and we will say test, and you can see that it exists. So file exists and test exists. One's file, one's a directory, but the fact that it exists, we are returning exists, but file2 does not exist, so we're saying no.